Yes. Already you have got V naught equals to AD VD plus AC VC, means you have got AD and you have obtained AC. How will we going to obtain VD? This is nothing but difference between two source input voltages, that is VS1 and VS2. So difference between these two voltages, VS1 is given as 70 millivolts per, peak to peak, and VS2 is given as 40 millivolts peak to peak. So difference between these two voltages will give you the differential voltage VD. So far we have got here 30 millivolts VD, and similarly common mode voltage is average of your input source voltages, that is VS1 plus VS2 by 2. ఇవన్నీ డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నామండి మనం previous classes లో. I don't know how much so far you have remembered it, right? Anyways, so the common mode gain means average of two input voltages or source voltages. So here we have taken. Yes. Okay. So average of this value have given 70 plus 40 by 2 means 55 milliohms peak to peak. So now you got VD and VC, right? Now just substitute all these values in this formula. You know, AD, which is 162.068 into 30 millivolts means 30 into 10 power minus 3 plus AC is 55 millivolts, that is 55 into 10 power minus 3. Sorry, VC is 55 into 10 power minus 3 into AC, you got 0.3414. So after calculating, your output voltage will be 4.88 volts. Got it? Just have a look at the solution of this problem once again. First point, you have calculated operating values or operating currents. Next, you have calculated everything is direct formula. It's just a substitution of direct formula. Right? So first point, you have calculated operating values, and next you have calculated differential gain by directly substituting in the formula. Similarly, you have calculated common mode gain by direct substitution of the formula. Each and every data have been given over, right? Next, you have calculated CMRR by taking the formula AD by AC, where already you have obtained these two values and just you substituted over there. And you have obtained this value in terms of dB by applying 20 log for the obtained value. And finally, you have calculated total output voltage by using this formula AD VD plus AC VC. Here VD and VC are obtained by using VS1 and VS2. VD means VS1 minus VS2, and VC is VS1 plus VS2 by 2. So you have got these two values and you just substituted. You know all these values and substituted. Finally, you got your output voltage. Okay. So far we have done two problems regarding this. Generally, the problem models will be in the same way which were asked in the question paper. So by this, our first unit is over. So today I want to start the introduction for your second unit. So guys, shall we go for the second unit?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, right. Now let us start our second unit. Actually, from this second unit, we'll be going to discuss about ICs. So second unit completely, we'll be going to discuss about the basics of operational amplifier. Here you will be going to learn about the internal block diagram of operational amplifier. That means what does an operational amplifier consists of internally, and its characteristics, right? Its applications, etc. So basically in this unit, so far you will be in detail, you will be learning about the block diagram of op-amp, its characteristics and parameters, and some of the applications, not all the applications, but you will be going to learn about some basic applications. Okay. And before going to the applications, here you will be going to learn about in this unit block diagram, its characteristics, its parameters, and how to measure those parameters, some compensation techniques to improve your parameters. So this unit will be going to discuss about all this. And before going to the operational amplifier, let us see a small introduction about integrated circuits, right? Now let us see. First of all, let us say what is an integrated circuit, right? So here is a definition. I can just have a different definitions regarding this integrated circuit. If I commonly say what is an integrated circuit means, I can say that uh, integration means different. I mean, you're combining all different circuits, isn't it? So simply I can say that I am combining different circuits and joining and keeping it as a one point. Okay, so I can say this, but here you have. So here you have the definition somehow. Integrated circuit is a miniature, low-cost electronic circuit consisting of active and passive components that are irreparably joined together on a single crystal chip of silicon. So this is it's if you are what do you say? This is a way of expressing what is an integrated circuit. So what here it is expressed is it's a miniature and of course a low cost electronic circuit which consists of all the active and passive elements that are irreparably joined together. Means once you have fabricated the IC, once the IC fabrication was over, internally you can't. Okay, right. Right. So irreparably joined together on a single crystal chip of silicon. Generally, the base here for fabricating the ICs, we use a substrate or the base as silicon only. So on a base, you are using different active and passive elements and you are joining all of them together and you are building a circuit. So not a circuit that may consist of multiple circuits. Okay, so that's why it is said to be a miniature low-cost electronic circuit which consists of active and passive components that are irreparably joined together on a single crystal chip of silicon. This is one way of expressing what is meant by so far integrated circuit. Now just let us see some of the advantages of integrated circuits here. So here are the some of advantages. So initially, so what is the first advantage is that miniaturization and hence increased equipment display. See, lot of devices or lot of circuits have been integrated together to form a single circuit. So obviously miniaturization means your circuits are becoming less. Dan batte kada, we are dividing these circuits into large scale LSI, VLSI, that means very large scale, SSI, small scale. Very, very large scale is also there, that we'll see in the next classes. First, initially, the main advantage is lot of equipment have been just miniaturized and it was put on a small piece of element. Okay, so that will reduce the complexity and size of the circuits, size of whatever, wherever if you want to use, it will reduce the complexity. So that is the first advantage, that is miniaturization and cost reduction due to batch processing. So as you are using bulk amount of devices, right? Generally, it will lead to the economical thing. ఎప్పుడైనా చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఏంటంటేనండి, చిన్న డబ్బా కంటే పెద్ద డబ్బా కొనుక్కున్నప్పుడు కాస్ట్ కంపారిటివ్లీ తక్కువ ఉంటుంది, ఎకనామికల్ గా ఉంటుంది. వాటిని మనం ఎకనామికల్ ప్యాక్స్ అంటాం. సిమిలర్లీ హియర్ కాస్ట్ విల్ బి రెడ్యూస్డ్. ఎక్కువ వాడుతున్నాం కదా, ఎలా తగ్గుద్ది అంటే ఎక్కువ వాడినప్పుడే తక్కువ ఉంటుంది, బల్క్ గా తీసుకున్నప్పుడే ఆబ్వియస్ గా మనకి రెడ్యూస్ అవుతుంది. సో కాస్ట్ రిడక్షన్, increased system reliability due to elimination of soldered points. So no need of, as I have already told you, system reliability will be increased because while you are building a circuit, there is no need of connecting ఈ మొత్తం సర్క్యూట్స్ అన్ని కావాలంటే వైర్స్ యూజ్ చేసి కనెక్ట్ చేయక్కర్లేదు. మీరు సింగిల్ ఐసీలో మీకు అన్ని సర్క్యూట్స్ ఉంటాయి. అంటే ఇంకొకటి గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఐసీ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ ఇంటర్నల్లీ యూ విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ all the active and passive elements like transistors, diodes or resistors, capacitors, etc. అంటే physical elements తీసుకెళ్ళి పెట్టరు దాంట్లో. Simply we'll be using P and N materials over there. So by the combination of these P and N materials only you will be forming. అంతేకాని IC అంటే డైరెక్ట్ గా physical elements తీసుకొచ్చి పెట్టడం కాదు. ఈ పి అండ్ లేయర్స్ యూజ్ చేసి దాన్ని బట్టి, దాని డిఫ్యూజన్ ని బట్టి, లేకపోతే వాటి ఆ మెటీరియల్ యొక్క వాట్ ఈస్ ఏ కాంబినేషన్ ని బట్టి మనం ఒక్కొక్క ఎలిమెంట్ ని తయారు చేస్తాం. అంతేకాని సర్క్యూట్ అనేటప్పటికి ఫిజికల్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఉండవు. ఒక ట్రాన్సిస్టర్ ఫామ్ చేయాలంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ లెటర్స్ సే పిఎన్పి ట్రాన్సిస్టర్ అయితే పిఎన్పి, పి లేయర్, ఎన్ లేయర్, పి లేయర్ కావాలి నాకు. సో ఈ 3 మెటీరియల్స్ యూజ్ చేసుకుని దాన్ని బట్టి ఒక కాంబినేషన్ తోటి ట్రాన్సిస్టర్ ఫామ్ చేసుకుంటాను. Okay, అంతేకాని డైరెక్ట్ ఫిజికల్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఉండవు. సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఇట్ వాస్ సేయింగ్, ఇట్ వాస్ సెడ్ హియర్. ఇట్స్ రిలయబిలిటీ ఈస్ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్ బికాస్ వి డోంట్ యూస్ ఎనీ సాల్డరింగ్ జాయింట్స్. వైర్స్ కానీ సాల్డరింగ్ జాయింట్స్ కానీ యూజ్ చేయం కాబట్టి ఆబ్వియస్ గా ఇట్స్ రిలయబిలిటీ ఈస్ విల్ బి well established. And next one is improved functional performance. Obviously ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నప్పుడు its functional performance also will be improved. And matched devices. మీరు ఇందాక మీరు జనరల్ గా ప్రీవియస్ గా డిఫరెన్షియల్ యాంప్లిఫైర్ సో ఫార్ వి హావ్ డిస్కస్డ్, దేర్ ఆల్వేస్ వి వర్ సేయింగ్ దట్ ద 2 ట్రాన్సిస్టర్స్ షుడ్ హావ్ ద మ్యాచ్డ్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్. అదే ఫిజికల్ గా మనం కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తే మనకి చాలా కాంప్లికేషన్స్ వస్తాయండి మ్యాచింగ్ లో. ద మ్యాచింగ్ విల్ బి అచీవ్డ్, నాట్ ideally it is not possible to 100% match the 2 devices because no 2 devices will be same practically. So but to maximum extent matching the devices is easy when we use the integrated circuits. And similarly increasing operating speeds, so speed of operation increases and power consumption reduces. So these are the few advantages of integrated circuits. First is miniaturization, cost reduction, system reliability increases, system performance increases, matching the devices is possible to greatest, to the maximum extent. Operating speeds increases and the consumption of power is also less. Why the consumption of power is less is, see here we are not using the long wires or soldering joints for making the circuit, isn't it? So when you don't have such long wires and all those, obviously your power loss will be less and obviously your power consumption is also less. So this is about some of, these are some of the advantages of integrated circuits. Coming to the classification, basically depending upon the type of applications, right, your ICs are classified into 2 types. So digital IC and linear ICs. So this classification is based on the application, right? So based upon the application, your ICs are classified into two types, digital IC and linear ICs. So these are the specific ICs actually. So if it is a digital IC means they will perform digital operations only, isn't it or not? For example, if you have seen already STLT chadukununtaru, lab chesaro leda, I don't know, but NOR, NAND gate, NOR gate and OR gate వీటన్నిటికి exclusive గా ICs ఉంటాయి, like 7400, 7402, 7404. All these are ICs, digital ICs, which can be used as NOR gate, NAND gate, AND gate, sorry, NOT gate, all these things. So digital ICs means specifically used for the applications of, for digital applications only. So far I have told you the examples like 7400, 7402, 7404. All these are the examples of digital ICs. So digital ICs will specifically perform digital applications only, right? And linear ICs are that which perform linear applications. Again, in linear ICs, there is a classification like general purpose and special purpose. So general purpose IC means your op-amp 741 is there, no? So that is a general purpose IC because that can be used as anything. Generally, why we call this as op-amp is it is able to perform lot of operations, mathematical operations. That's why the name was given as operational amplifier. So this 741 IC can be said as a general purpose IC because it can operate in any way. So it can perform the mathematical operations, it can perform the linear operations, like it can act as an oscillator, it can act as an amplifier, it can act as a multi-vibrator. So a lot of applications are there regarding op-amp. So that's why we call this as general purpose IC. Special purpose IC means that specific IC will perform only a specific operation. It is meant to perform only that specific operation. Let us take, there is an IC called 555 timer. So that 555 timer will perform only timing operations. It can be used only as a timer. I can't use that 555 timer for a mathematical operation. But I can use operational amplifier for mathematical operation. Of course, I can use that as a timer. I can use that as a multi-vibrator or oscillator or amplifier. But here, 555 timer can't be used as an amplifier or can't be used for mathematical purposes. It can be used as only timer. So that is what the difference between general purpose IC and special purpose ICs. So general purpose IC means your op-amp 741 IC is a general purpose example for general purpose IC, and special purpose IC is what I have told you, like 555 timer, and also we have a 565 PLL phase locked loop IC, which can act as only PLL. So far I think you have gone through it. Lab lo chesuntarandi. Second semester lo meeku AC lab edo untundi kada. I don't remember what is that specifically, but I think you have already done that experiment. So 565 అంటే PLL లా మాత్రమే యాక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. It can't perform the other operations. So the ICs which perform specific operations are special purpose ICs, and the ICs which perform different operations, all the operations are general purpose ICs. So those two ICs will come under linear ICs, and digital ICs are specifically the ICs which perform only digital operation. So this is about the classification of IC based upon the application. Okay, so again there is another mode of classification. So that classification is based upon technology, IC technology. That means how we are fabricating the ICs, how we are designing the ICs. So based upon the technology, there are two types. One is monolithic and the other is hybrid. So based upon the technology, previous one, this is based upon the applications. This classification is based upon the application, and coming to this classification is based upon technology, how we are designing the IC. Okay, so we have two different technologies, monolithic and hybrid technology. Now let us see what is meant by monolithic IC. Monolithic, name itself is saying you that mono means single. Single means all the components, whether they are active as a or passive components, all will be just manufactured, fabricated on a single on top of a single chip of silicon. See, look at here, that is what written over here. All the circuit components, both active and passive elements, and their interconnections are manufactured into or on top of a single chip of silicon. Okay, that means everything, whatever it might be, everything will be fabricated on a single chip. Andukane mono means single. Okay, so such type of ICs are known as monolithic ICs. If all your circuit components, whatever are there, without using the second substrate, if you are fabricating or designing everything on a single substrate, then we call it as monolithic IC, right? And coming to the hybrid circuits, so here it's a part different. Okay, so what we are going to do over here is some separate component parts are attached to a ceramic substrate and interconnected by means of metallization pattern or wire bonds. అంటే కొన్ని వాటిని మనం సెపరేట్ గా కొన్ని ఎలిమెంట్స్ ని సెపరేట్ గా ఫిక్స్ చేసుకుని మళ్ళీ దాన్ని తీసుకొచ్చి యాక్చువల్ మోడల్ కి కనెక్ట్ చేస్తాం అన్నమాట అండి. ఓకే, what can I say? The best example is general ga hybrid plants అని అంటాం కదండి. నార్మల్ ప్లాంట్ కి హైబ్రిడ్ మోడల్ కి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి అని అంటే, hybrid is somewhat a combination of two different things. Here also ఇది కూడా అంతే. hybrid circuit అంటే some separate circuit will be designing and we are joining those two by using the wires or some metallization processes. Some components have been separately connected. రెండు విడివిడి వాటిని కనెక్ట్ చేస్తాం అన్నమాట అండి. అది హైబ్రిడ్ సర్క్యూట్ అవుతుంది. Got it? Have you understood difference between monolithic is that where each and every circuit will be fabricated on a single chip, a single substrate of silicon. Hybrid circuits is might be it's a combination of two separate substrates. You'll be building one circuit on one substrate and the other on the other substrate, and you'll be combining them. Sometimes based upon the application or based upon the need that you require. So such type of circuits are known as hybrid circuits. So generally in monolithic circuits, we use high quantity of components, and in hybrid circuits, generally we use low quantities of components. So already, as I have told you about the technology that, so based upon technology, your ICs have been classified into monolithic and hybrid. Again, based upon the devices, your monolithic circuits might be bipolar or unipolar. Bipolar means PN junction or dielectric devices, or unipolar devices means MOSFETs and JFETs. So these are the basic classifications of IC. So we have so far seen about classification of IC based on the applications, and we have seen the classification of IC based upon technology. And of course, there is also some more topics are there regarding ICs. So that we'll see in the next class. So hope this is clear for you. Yes? Shall we conclude the class? Is this clear for you?
Ma'am,
Yes? Yes?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now I'll conclude the class and let us see you in the next class. So thank you very much everybody. Have a nice day.